There was an issue with the last podcast. Apparently, I was chewing my gum, but I think it was my breathing that was fucking up.
You're overweight, dude.
No, it's my septum is like severely deviated, and I can only get one nostril.
Grant's got a Chipotle. All right, I'm checking audio.
Like,
we can't say that word.
Yeah, I can. Watch
No,
me.
you can't.
Not on the podcast.
It's recorded.
It's running.
Oh, you
Gotta
clown!
expose
You
you.
should tell us that.
It's been recorded.
Okay, if this makes it out, I'm gonna show up at your house.
All right, whatever.
Actually, I'm a piss Kellen off until it's your.
Wait. Hold on. Question. Is that recording?
Yes, it's recording. It's recording. All right, what is going on, guys? This is the Raw You Podcast, episode 27, right?
Yes, sir.
And I am joined, or we are joined. Well, we don't even have a host for this. This is just a podcast, but
Calvin, you're the official host.
Yeah, I guess I'm the official host. So we got myself, we got Mr. Grant Romer, Zach Wolpert, and the new kid on the block.
Kid on the block.
Vaughn Walker. Not really the new kid on the block anymore.
That's like,
But
that's a year past the due date.
yeah, but we decided to run a podcast today, just kind of with the whole creative team, and kind of just going from there. But as you guys may have seen or have been checking on our socials, we've been doing a lot of rebrand content. The new labels have been coming out. We don't even have any other products around with us. That's okay. It doesn't matter. But we're doing a huge rebrand and everything like that. A bunch of new flavors coming out. And I think myself, Grant, and Zach, we've been doing these huge, well, not huge, but like we've been shooting for like a week straight of just like all this new content, which is like, I think it's actually kind of cool that we've been doing that, because I don't think we've actually done that like ever before.
Well, I mean,
So.
you kind of did for Arizona, but that was like the beginning of it.
Mm-hmm. That was just me kind of like renting a C70 and kind of going at it.
Yeah.
But yeah, what do you think of the new labels and everything?
They look super clean. Like if I walked into like a vitamin shop and compare that to every other supplement brand, like that's just it's flashing at you.
Yeah.
So I like them.
It's so funny because we were like, it was like how many because we started the new labels in the old office. And we were like all super just like, I don't know if it looks good. I don't know if it looks good. Because like, when you see renders and you're just like, dude, that looks so plain. But then when you see it in person, it's just like so clean.
Yeah, I would definitely say the gradient, like on the label, like the word itself.
Yeah.
One, that it's lifted, very nice touch. And two, that there's like that colors gradient going up.
Yeah.
It just makes it pop a lot.
Yeah. Sarah did a good job. Shout out Sarah if you're probably not watching
Hey,
this.
Zach, you want to contribute anytime soon?
I'm just listening.
Zach's just
observing. No, I do.
How you run a good podcast.
Well, I 100% think that the new labels will they'll do a lot better because they do pop, like Vaughn was saying, and like you're gonna know the flavor. You don't have to search. That's one thing I do think that we had that was bad on the old labels. Not bad, but just not optimal. Was
they were pretty bad, like our old labels.
The color of this Chipotle bag, just
It was.
brown.
It was.
But the ability to like identify the product, see what the flavor is, I think is going to be great for us.
Yeah.
Because it will get our product into more people's hands, and I think we offer a good product. So I think that that's a good, it's a good way to expand it. It benefits everybody.
And like, here's the thing: is like not to sound arrogant, like because obviously we all work for Raw, but like, I don't know if it's just this time and age that we live in, but like, I feel like a lot of supplement companies that are like DTC or just like online, they just grow so quickly now. Like we've had a lot of growth this year, and obviously that attributes to like a lot of our social media presence, but like it's just crazy how like so many businesses nowadays can just like grow like super fast. Like for example, like how old is Young LA?
Couple years.
It's only a couple years.
I think it's like they started small at one point, like obviously, but 3-4 years, Grant, something like that.
Let's find out.
Well, like, and there's Gary and all of them, they're all based out of LA, right?
Yeah. I think
2014.
Oh, so that's been a minute. But they started like they were like reselling like
Stuff on Amazon.
yeah, like Converse and like just like shirts and shit like that.
Now they're doing damn near
Fucking
a drop every
everything,
2 weeks. But I mean, that's good though. That shows that they got volume to do it. But it's just crazy how like brands can just build so fast nowadays.
I would love to pick. It's Gary, right? That owns a brand. I would love to pick his brain and see how do you manage like purchase orders, or like stocking him or having inventory or making the orders that. Because he's not ordering these a week before the drop, right?
Yeah.
Like he's ordering months.
Have you ever seen like photos of the warehouse?
I saw one, but like I don't.
It's
didn't get
fucking
the scope of it.
ridiculous.
It's huge.
It's
and
like
to our surprise, I remember being Vaughn talking about this. The organization they have for it is absurd.
it's crazy.
Well, they got like they probably got a damn like like line of just like one person's packing, one person's getting.
Well,
I mean, we do the same thing, but
Yeah.
like there's just like huge volume,
Yeah,
right? They're
yeah.
probably getting, God knows how many damn thousands of orders a day.
Yeah.
When we were out there in July, they already had like last month's drop figured out.
Yeah.
Like, you remember when we went there, we saw the hoodies?
Mhm.
Oh yeah,
Like,
they
what
plan.
the
I
heck?
think they planned
Yeah.
what,
Like
like
6
half a year in advance,
Yeah,
like
like
something
6
like that.
months in advance.
I mean,
Ridiculous.
dude, that's honestly how you do it, though.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you look at Christian, like, if you listen to him talk about it, I mean, it seems like it's like, I can't remember exactly the number he gave, so I don't want to butcher that.
Yeah.
But it was over a year ahead,
Mhm.
which is, I mean, you got to think about it. Like, you're predicting what people are actually going to like.
Mhm.
Because if you're getting the orders and you're going to have the product in,
Mhm.
you're not ordering it like,
Mhm.
you know, right now we know there's, I mean, name something trendy,
TikTok?
right? Well, that's not a great way to put it, but for the idea of the pump cover, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's very trendy.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, like, he had to know a year ago that we were going to want pump covers, or we were going to want, you know, more joggers, or whatever it is. So I think it's very interesting to see, like, how do you predict a market like that?
Analytics. I remember.
I think honestly, I think it's just like I've looked at it now. I think it's just like the first person to do it, like the first person that notices it and just like completely capitalizes it right away.
Yeah.
Do you think that he controls, and Vaughn, this is almost a really good question for you. Do you think that he controls what's cool? Instead of trying to provide what people might think is cool, he controls what's, and I'm using cool in quotations, he controls what's cool by using influencers, people who, you know, have a lot of people who idolize them, look up to them, like what they're doing. So, like, for example, your followers see what you wear, and they're like, that's kind of cool because Vaughn's wearing it, or, like, you know, you've posted it.
Yeah. So I don't think it's like based off like trend. I mean, it is in a sense, say like the pump cover thing,
Yep.
but like in the moment, say like they drop something that's completely like just like unique, and see all these top influencers wearing it, they're gonna be like, holy fuck, like I want that too.
Yep.
And then I think that is what creates those trends. So it's just like, I don't know. Like,
I think a lot of the trends are built. I mean, we can all agree to this. A lot of the trends are built off of memes, for the most
some
part,
extent,
and then
yeah.
it just kind of just stems from that. Like, you know, that one TikTok that's been going around where Drake's like partying in the club,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
he's just
yeah,
like,
yeah.
and there's like a cut of it of like he like puts his hand in the guy's cup and flicks it and like slaps the guy. Like, there's companies that take that and then leverage it to their marketing. Like, that's genius, you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, it all depends on like what type of a brand do you want to be. Do you want to be a brand that's like tailored towards the trend, or do you want to be a brand that like is a little bit more standalone, unique on its own perspective, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like with us, like we kind of bridge that gap in certain ways. Like we find out what's trendy, but we also try to kind of like stay not really like in our own lane, but we just try to like remember, like, you know, like we enjoy doing things like the way that we do things,
Yeah.
you know, rather than following trends. Because like I feel like at the end of the day, if you're a company that always follows trends, like you don't really have a company identity. You know what I mean? Exactly. Like, for example, like we always talk about these guys, but like ASRV, like it was like a guy that was like in university, and he just wanted, like, the owner, I think his name's JB, he's so like particular on just design, he doesn't care about anything else. And because he was so like focused on the design of clothing, it just like everyone was like, yo, this is like super, like all this stuff looks super technical, right? And like it just became like one of the most like well-known like clothing brands. You know what I mean? And like I wear their shit today.
Well, I
I'm
think
wearing
if
their
you have
joggers
like
right
a
now.
genuine interest and you put a legit amount of time into anything, you can make it work, right?
Mhm.
Because
Yeah.
people see that.
But like you look at a brand like that, like they don't do anything that's trendy.
No.
They like everything is so like it's
Well,
like
you
a
can't- you can't do
futuristic.
trendy
yeah.
when your shorts are $79
Yeah,
or whatever
yeah.
they are.
Yeah. I think I mean, I think a lot of brands that come up now, like it's not that they don't have brand identity, but they build off of trends, and then afterwards they try to find their
Develop
brand
yeah.
identity. Like I think even at the point that we are now, I think we're still also trying to find our brand identity, but I think
It's a
we
lot more difficult though, because every company we've spoken about, it's a clothing company.
Mhm. Yeah.
Clothing company.
Yeah.
So it's just like we always talk about it, like building a supplement company
Mhm.
is one of the most difficult things to do, because you're like, clothing is different, but
Mhm.
like being able to sell a product which is not even a necessity to a person's life,
Mhm.
that's where like the real difficulty comes in.
Mhm.
So for us, brand identity is like, yeah, you're right, like we're still like on our journey of finding it, but I do think regardless, when we do find it, that'll be the thing that kind of sets us in
Yeah.
stone.
But I think we are starting to get our groove and understand like what we are as a brand. Like a lot of people just like, even when people come down here, like our ambassadors or like anyone that comes down here, they're like, damn, you guys are just like, I mean, I'm not trying to sound like I'm pumping our tires, but like people, we're just like, we're not like these guys that are just like, you know, hustle bustle, like are pretentious. We're just like, we kind of just do our day-to-day thing, you know. Everyone's here at the office as friends. Everyone, we all chill, hang out. We went to golf. Like it's casual, you know. But like I think what we've done a good job is like understanding like when it's work hours, and then outside of that, like we're friends. You know what I mean?
It's like the whole idea of finding a good group of people. This is funny when you were talking about like going on the trips, the filming trip that we just did. I personally really like that too. And it was funny. I was talking to somebody about this the other day. It's very nice to work with people that like, okay, if Grant needs help editing something or he has 3 reels, I have none because I've done all mine because I had more time one day and finished. Or say you need to take photos, but you also have to go film for Chris.
Yeah.
Or for example, like I would never hesitate to help either one of y'all. And I know you wouldn't for me because you've helped me and I've helped y'all. And so I think that that's a very nice, like, it puts us in that position to like, we're around like-minded people who are willing to work hard. And it's even like the guys that, you know, the athletes that are really pushing the brand too, like Vaughn. Vaughn comes in, and obviously not every athlete is down here, but Vaughn comes in the office, shows face, helps. Like, you know, that's very, it's rewarding, and it's like, it's cool to see that everybody around here wants stuff to work and they're willing to work and to show up.
Yeah.
Whereas it could be very simple for like, they're like Chris and Vaughn they don't have to be here.
Yeah.
They don't have to, you know, like that isn't necessary.
Like half the times I'm here, I'm just like twiddling my thumbs doing
fucking
nothing. But I enjoy hanging out.
Yeah.
Like, I like this environment that we have here. So like,
Yeah. And it's not like you don't provide value too. Like, you know, you're
No,
here
you
and
100%
like,
do.
Yeah. But like, I think the other thing that we have to keep in mind is like this Raw is only like 3 years old, which is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
So I think, you know, trying to do all these things with like now our team is starting to get bigger, but like trying to work on all these aspects, like, you know, now we're working on SOPs and like we're working on brand guidelines and like all these things. But then like literally like 3 weeks later, it's like, all right, new product. We're about to get X amount of units. We're like, all right, we got to push this. So it's like, it's so much stuff that we want to like the building. It's not like we don't have a foundation, but because we do, it's just, it hasn't been looked on in like a while because like, we move at such a fast pace, but that's also what makes us successful. But we understand the concept of like having a good foundation and also remembering that like if certain things come on the table, we need to like prioritize that because like that's how we work as a fast paced environment, right? I mean, all of us know that. Like we'll literally be editing something and then it'll just come like, hey, we got like X amount of SKUs coming in now. We're like, all right, well, I guess we got to shoot them, which reminds me, we actually have to shoot something today for a website. But I think it's all a learning process because like at the end of the day, like the last time I had a job that was like involved building a brand was like probably back in 2014, 15.
Now, my question for you about that would be, did you have to move as fast as you do here? Is this a new learning? Not obviously it's a new learning curve because it's a completely different industry. But my point is, do you think that the pace here is something that you've had to adjust to, adapt to, that challenged you? Did you expect it?
It definitely was a challenge. I mean, from a personal standpoint, yes, it was a huge challenge. But from like an actual career standpoint, it wasn't as big as I had thought because like my last job that involved the supplement industry, I used to work for Popeye Supplements, and that was
not the chicken chain.
Not the chicken chain. I have to always
Reiterate
remind me that. But I worked for Popeye Supplements, which was a supplement chain. It was like the Vitamin Shop of Canada. They had like 100. I think they're now at 175 stores across Canada, which is huge. So I went into sales for the first 2 to 3 years, and then I was given the opportunity to become marketing manager for our West Coast franchise, which was like 10 stores. And then I ended up doing a little bit of stuff for head office as well. So like understanding how to build all those social media platforms for like our British Columbia franchise, like that was different because that's also when I picked up a camera. So like it wasn't as like fast paced because like the brand identity of Popeyes was already established. Everyone know what Popeyes was. It was more so like, okay, now my job is to find those trends and like find those things that like engage. Because social media back in 2014 was like, there was no such thing as an influencer back then. You know what I mean?
No, not at all.
There's no such thing as influencer marketing or like any of that kind of stuff. It was more so, it was very guerrilla marketing.
It's like
still.
David Lay didn't even have a million
like
followers.
it was like people were still doing like demos and booths and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But now like it's crazy how like in 5 years it just
180.
completely changed.
Yeah.
Now if you see someone just doing a demo, you're like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
you immediately like, I gotta
That
have
shit's
5
outdated.
influencers.
Yeah. But like, I think those things are valuable. Like, for example, like, do you guys know Tough Mudder?
Yeah.
Have you guys heard of Tough Mudder?
Yeah.
It's like a huge, like, it's like a
That's where Kyle hurt himself.
It's like an adult playground.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's
Kyle
like
did a Tough Mudder. That's where he broke his.
It was like a, it's like
I
a huge.
actually edited that video.
Yeah, we got to talk about that. We got to talk about that.
But it's like a huge, like, it's like a huge obstacle course, and it's like there's like a, I don't know how many miles it is, like probably like, I don't know, 7-10 miles or something. But like, you know, I think it's valuable to have like, you know, a stand or something there because it shows our brand on different demographics. I think that's one thing that we're starting to learn is like we have to bridge out of our demographic because it was heavily reliant on bodybuilding at first.
Well, look at look at the projects we've been running recently.
Exactly.
I mean, we're filming with a fighter, we're filming with a runner, we're filming with a biker, we're filming with
MMA fighter.
Yeah, it's
UFC bound. So we're definitely trying to outreach, and we want to just expand to where it's almost like how it doesn't matter where you're from, you know what Nike is.
Yeah.
You know what Adidas
Yeah.
is. So we eventually want to get to that point. Obviously, like we're nothing close to that realm yet, but
Do you
it
think
all
doing
takes
that
time.
kind of thing will like ever outgrow the bodybuilding aspect of the brand?
No, because I think a huge thing that we want to keep with the company is always remember where you come from. So like there will always be a branch of Get Raw Nutrition that is from bodybuilding because that's like where we came from. So I think we'll never stop appreciating that realm.
If you look at it, that's how Gymshark was built.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they did this one commercial where it was like it showed like the heritage of like Gymshark, and it was like they had like Dorian Yates do like the commentation. It was like this 3D rendering of like statues, and then had like the first OG like Gymshark like Lex Griffin, David Lade, Matt Ogus,
Chris Lovato.
yeah, like those like OGs, you know, and they were all like basically like
That was 2017.
they were somewhat bodybuilders, amateur bodybuilders at the time, I believe.
Matt Ogus was the only bodybuilder at that point.
Yeah,
Lex
but
Griffin
all of them
competed.
focused on like when they
Fitness.
said they're
It was-
like when they trained, they said like I'm bodybuilding.
Yeah,
you know, like
but it was so different back then too because the fitness industry for like social media, it was so different back then than it is now.
It's like night and day now.
Because
yeah.
like, and that's when like I hear some people say like, oh, the fitness industry it's so oversaturated at this point. And it's like it's only been 5 years. Imagine in the next 5 years.
See, I agree and disagree. I think any industry where it seems like you can make money easily, and Vaughn, you can speak on this, is if you, it seems like you can do something easily. Like it seems like a dream job to I take photos, post them on my Instagram, make a YouTube video here and there, and now I've made my money. I don't have to have a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Okay. Obviously, we know because we help creators, and you know because you are one, that is not at all the case.
No.
Right? Like social media, to the people who do well on social media, from my perspective and my experience, they treat it like a job. It is a job. You come to the office, you work on your laptop, you're working on other business ventures. Like it's not a I take my phone out and take a photo and then post it and I move on and I'm an influencer. And so I think that it's saturated with people like that. You know, we see it in the gym now, and like I don't knock anybody who takes a tripod or a camera to the gym, but there's a lot of people who would just go in there and it's kind of like a half-assed effort of I'm going to make a TikTok.
They're not training.
And it's like you're not even seeing, you're more worried about how many followers you have than how you're helping someone or monetizing or any of that. And I just think that the saturation comes from people who aren't really, they're not, they have 10,000 followers, half of which they bought, and they're not going to convert on it.
And I would say,
and then there are people like Vaughn.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I would say a huge reason why the upswing of that is honestly just the huge growth of TikTok, because especially during like the COVID years, because that's all it was. So TikTok allowed creators to honestly just use their phone, make TikToks, go viral, get deals, and then that's all they did. So it's just like that translated over to Instagram, that translated over to all the other platforms, and what you see is that's where, like how you're saying, like there are creators that treat it like a job, and usually those are the people that excel.
Yep.
But then there are the followers that have the idealism of, okay, I want to do it too.
Yeah.
But they don't understand that the reason why they're up there so high is because of how much extra they're doing to keep themselves there.
Well, it's very interesting too, because there's a guy I follow, his name is Cameron Haynes. He's a huge influencer too, but one of the things he talks about is the must be nice, right? Like it's very easy for someone who's trying to start social media, and maybe they're taking a couple videos in the gym here and there. They look at someone like Vaughn, someone like Chris, any of these guys that are actually making it, and it's like it must be nice. Well, it might not be nice to like deal with 300,000 people commenting on your life.
Yeah.
They don't see that part. They don't see the part where you have to work. They don't want to edit the videos. They don't want to do any of that. So I think that's also kind of interesting.
Yeah, I think I mean, I'm not trying to target anyone here, but I also think the word creator is like thrown around.
Yes.
Like absolutely crazy. And like, I'm not mad about it. Like it's like, cause like I've been doing like creating content for, well, first of all of Chris's career, and also like way before that, you know what I mean? So like the word creator, I think it's just like, it's kind of like, it's almost like it's almost used in the same context as like the word influencer now.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
athlete or public figure or anything
But
like that.
I hate both of those words.
I hate all of
Like,
those
it's
words,
Vaughn,
to be
so
honest.
bad.
Vaughn Walker, the influencer,
The creator.
IFBB
I
Pro
hate it.
influencer.
Like, what is it
No,
like?
It sucks to say, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Does it
just make you
I-
feel
But,
weird.
but what
It's
is the
just like it's just
You're just a
strange term,
person.
Yeah.
what is the definition of an influencer? Someone that
Somebody who
Somebody who
influences.
influences, which makes sense.
Yes, but the
To
But
a
now-
certain extent.
And
but
now
like,
now it has a pretentious title to it.
Yeah.
yes, the connotation around it is what
it's
destroys
terrible.
it.
Yeah.
Like I
And-
know when I call Chris an influencer, he clenches his butt
yeah,
cheeks.
for sure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
He
he's just like,
clenches.
"Oh." But like it's hard. Like what else do you call them? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So like I
Call
think
them a
from-
public figure.
yeah.
Social media marketers. Maybe that's a
Social
better word.
media-
That's-
Expert-
That's really what you do,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
No,
I mean-
I mean, yeah. I guess the main thing you would call yourself is like, that doesn't sound as pretentious as I guess public figure, but that
Yeah.
kind of does sound pretentious in a
It
way.
does.
So, here's a question for you, Vaughn. For the younger guys or the younger girls or even the older people who want to be a social media marketer
Quit.
or want to use social media to make their living, what is something that people might not like see on the front end?
As far as what?
In terms of like, say they start and they like, they're starting, they're getting going, and then there's this massive aspect that might be negative or they didn't consider because they're blinded by, I'm just trying to chase like it. Like I said, it must be nice. Like seems to do is an easy job, but it's not. Is there a part of it that people have not, that they look over or they don't think about?
Well, I think the whole saturation in the fitness industry is created because like, everybody's trying to be a certain like figure,
Yep.
but they completely lack the uniqueness part of it, and they just try to copy other people.
Yep.
And like by doing that, you don't create like that self identity,
Yep.
And it's just like, that's what I feel like. If you're trying to make it, that's something you have to have. And just so I feel bad saying, but so many people lack it,
Yeah.
And that's kind of why they don't excel.
Yep.
Well, like, how many people have you? The amount of people that I've heard have come up to you guys and say, "Oh man, like I want to be like Vaughn. I want to be like Chris." I'm like, dude, like that's cool. Like I understand like what you're trying to say.
You gotta be your
but like
own
you gotta
person.
be
Why don't you
yourself.
just
Like,
be
like,
you?
you gotta
Yeah.
be yourself for sure. Like you have to like if you try to if you try to implement or like be someone else, then you're going very far from what you should be doing if you want to be build your own brand or brand identity or like for yourself.
And even if it works, I feel like, can you imagine that every time you turn the camera on, you had to pretend?
yeah.
Yeah.
Like
It's
that would
fake,
make,
yeah.
I can't relate to that because, I mean, you put me in front of a camera and I'm horrendous, which is funny because
You
behind
cannot
it, I can hold the
speak.
camera, no worries.
Yeah.
But in front of the camera, I can't. But I cannot imagine having to pretend like that is who I was or what I wanted to do to make my living. Because it's like, as soon as you stop, well, now how do you pay your bills?
Yeah.
Right? So I guess that makes more, like, that's a really good point, to actually be you.
Yeah.
That's where like a lot of creators fall into the like
Define a creator, please.
YouTubers. I'll say
Oh my
YouTube.
God,
I'll
dude.
say
I'm just joking.
YouTubers.
I can't even call myself a content creator anymore. It's
No,
so.
but to be fair, like yes, I hate the word, but we're popularizing it to the extent to where now it's common. So people that aren't in our space, they'll recognize it as like an actual profession. Like, let's be honest here. When I first started out, people like, even like, for example, like our parents, like the people from that age, when you say, "Oh, what do you do for a living?" "I make videos," they look at you like, "How the hell are you paying your
bro.
bills?"
Bro,
My mom still doesn't understand anything.
So
Dude,
that's what I
And it's
mean.
just like,
So
it
with
took-
this upswing of creators, it's kind of normalizing that. So it's helping people understand, like, please, there's like a person from Shark Tank,
I see what you mean. I see what
Kevin
you mean.
O'Leary. He
I
said
decided not to go back to college for this.
I dropped out of
Yeah,
school.
I mean, like,
I
we
was
can
about to
relate
go to,
on that.
I was about to go to physical therapy school,
Yep.
and then Ant hits me up. He's like, "Yo, let's go to Move LA and just create videos." I'm like, "Sure."
Well, all of us left our old jobs or careers
Yeah.
to do this, so that's pretty obvious. But like, I think, yeah, like I get what you're saying though. Like a lot because of all those people, it's allowing the roles that we have to kind of be like a little bit more like known about.
Yeah.
But like, dude, like even like for damn near 6-7 years, I didn't know how to explain to my parents like what I did. Until like literally 2 years ago, my mom finally made an Instagram and like followed me. She's like, "Oh wow, you have like followers and like this is what you do." I'm like, "Yeah, that's pretty much." She's like, "Oh, so cool." And then like I'm like, just fob ass Asian parents, you know what I mean? They're just like, don't know what the fuck I do. They're like, "What do you do?" I'm like, "I film this guy." Like that's weird, you know.
And then they
But-
look at that guy and they're like, he's got 15 million followers.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
They're like,
Well, I mean, my dad asked me like, "Can I see what you've been doing on the Google?"
on the Google.
I said, "Dad, that it's called Google." And yes, you can
the Google.
You can Google YouTube and type in Brett Wilkin, and you'll see what I've been doing.
That's like, oh, too much
But
work. That's like 3 pages. I have to go click on.
Not on the Google, Dad.
Yeah.
No, that's funny though, because it's like, it's very interesting that there is. I think like you're right. We are moving towards an area where people do respect what we do
Yes.
and understand that it's necessary and useful.
Mhm.
But it is hard to like. I mean,
It's hard to
you,
explain.
You can't explain an iPhone to someone who's 80 years old. Try to explain
Exactly.
that you're an editor.
Exactly. So it's
bring
just
up
like,
Premiere Pro and see how
and
that goes.
It's difficult because before this, I guess you'd consider it an era. The only way you'd get into what we do is on the more traditional side,
Yep.
and that means you have to go to school for what is it, communications,
Yeah, I'm sure there's a
journalism.
plethora of different
But
things.
like you'd have to like you're working for a production company, you're working in like TV, and you're the journalist editor, or like you. I mean, realistically, YouTube was founded to be a dating site. It wasn't even meant to share videos.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Huh?
You didn't know that?
No,
That's
I
the
didn't know
truth.
that.
Yeah.
That's
YouTube in
crazy.
its day was like they would it was these two guys, I think. They would email people, or they'd go on Craigslist and say, "Hey," to women, like, "Can you film a video so we could put it on our site?" And like that's how you'd meet like people. But
That's
then
strange.
Yeah, that's fucking
but yeah.
Sounds like a 2004 OnlyFans or
Exactly. But
something.
then what happened was they opened up the doors to like, oh, let's just let anyone publish anything. And that's how YouTube then evolved and just went fucking crazy.
crazy.
Then Google bought them.
Calvin, I have a very specific question for you that's completely off topic.
Yeah.
If you could be any superhero, who would you be?
Thor for sure.
Thor.
Yeah, he's my favorite.
I want to be Iron Man.
Why? Just because he's rich as fuck?
No, bro. He has he has no heart. It's just a fucking light source.
Well, he has a heart.
Well, yeah, he has a heart.
Whatever. If you couldn't tell, I don't watch Marvel.
No, you
Why?
clearly don't.
I mean, I don't like movies. I do like movies,
Yeah,
but like
that's
not
fucked
like
up.
Marvel movies.
You like? Oh, okay.
Like
Yeah, you're a show
Tarantino.
guy.
I like Tarantino movies.
Oh, so this was a question I asked these three guys, and we already know what our answer is, but I want to ask you. If you had the choice of being an Academy Award-winning filmmaker or a best-selling author, like
Books.
book writer, or a a
Songwriter.
Grammy-winning artist, which of the three would you rather be?
Do I get to hear their answers first?
No, you have to
No,
choose
no.
first. We already know.
You probably already know what we're gonna say.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Y'all are filmmakers for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like being an author would be pretty dope.
Yeah.
Because like I really don't fall in the category of Grammy or filmmaker.
Oscar.
So,
You're not
Vaughn's gonna write books.
Dropping a country album.
Juan's gonna write books. I love to hear you on an ebook, just narrating it. How I
That would
started
be good.
Bond Streets. How's that coming along? By the way,
that's pretty good. I think
Where are my treats?
yeah. Boy,
fucking
boy,
Dom
been
is
eating them, dude.
Dom is hoarding them somewhere. I think they're upstairs or in his truck. But
Oh, they're going to be all melted if they're in his truck.
That's
when
fine.
you heat it up, though, it's
Yeah, it's nice
good.
and nice and.
But hopefully launching in early March-ish.
Yeah.
We're getting the packaging sent to us. It should be here in like 2-3 days, something like that. So we'll actually see it in person before we put it through production and start actually packaging treats. So
where did the idea came up from? I don't know if you've talked about this yet, but have you?
I've told a few people, but it was really just like one random ass day. It was like midsummer, and I went into the office, and I went up to Dom and was like, "Yo, you trying to get a tattoo?" He's like, "Depends." And I was like, "It's gonna be a raw tattoo." He's like, "Fuck yeah, let's go right now."
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, bet. So we get in this truck, and on the way there, I'm like, "Yo, I kind of want to like do something for myself, like you have Raw and like a whole bunch of other businesses, and I really respect that.
Yeah.
Especially because like growing up, my mom had like 2 businesses, my dad had a business, and it's just like always something that I wanted to get into. So we were kind of just like bullshitting and like throwing around some ideas, and I forget who brought it up. It might have been him or it might have been myself, but it was interesting with the whole trending thing. I was like, it's a trend right now to eat like a Rice Krispie before working out. And he's like, you know what, we could throw protein in that and it could end up being like really good. And
Dude, they're crack.
Yeah, we went to Miami to taste them. I was
so
like,
fucking
holy
good.
shit.
Like-
I've still yet to try one, but that's funny because that's like the one point with all of this stuff is like, if you can make it taste good, you have an opportunity.
Exactly, yeah. And I think it's the one thing that like is kind of unique in the industry right now, because like everybody's loading shit with protein and like
Yeah.
but we're going like, I think we're gonna be one of the first like bigger Rice Krispie brands that have that protein aspect, and
Well,
it's
your guys'
gonna be like
approach is
healthy
not,
too.
Yeah,
so.
your approach is it's a treat.
Yeah.
It's not like something like, oh my god, this is so healthy for you.
Yeah.
It's just like it's
So-
it is a treat
with extra
right?
protein.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is dope. I think
Because
that's
I could see
sweet
it
idea.
being like something we would eat, like, you know, right, intra workout, pre-workout,
Intra-workout,
Yeah.
pre-workout.
or post
or
or
just
whatever,
a snack, bro.
or even a
Yeah.
snack, or carrying it through the airport or whatnot. But I also see it as like we're saying, because I've seen a little bit of the branding, I've seen, you know, some pictures of the bars themselves, and you
It
say
looks
it tastes
dope.
good. It's like, this is something that you want the 8-year-old, you know, walking through the checkout aisle to be like, mom, can I get this? Because it's appealing in terms of like the visual, but also like they're going to want it again because it tastes good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's so many
Dude, it's
markets
just
you can
like-
hit.
If you eat 5 of them, it's 50 grams of protein.
50 grams of protein and 150 carbs.
That's fine. That's
So-
a meal. I
that sounds like an off-season meal to me.
that seems like an off-season meal.
That's like that sounds like General Tao's chicken.
I would much rather eat that than chicken and rice, bro.
Like, it's gonna be 5 of those.
They're slightly different,
Yeah,
but
just a little bit different.
maybe you should do like chicken, rice.
Might be
and, like,
shitting
2
out your
bars.
ass after
Yeah.
eating one of them.
Zach, don't tell me what to do.
I'm not telling you what to do. I'm advocating
You-
for the best
Th-
opportunity
that's
for you to grow.
Not
Human goose.
No.
this guy's such a.
What is the hype about
that.
that? Is it just super good?
Do you like chicken tenders?
I do like chicken tenders to an extent.
Do you like protein?
No. Then you're gonna change your mind. All right.
Oh, the sweet heat. Oh, why are we doing this?
Dude, Zach told me anytime he talks to me, I always have something related to food to say, and it just gets him hungry.
He's the only person who
Listen,
can do
I'm
that.
not getting food with you guys because I finally brought my venison to work after eating out all
Well, I'm
week.
not eating. I'm not gonna eat chicken fingers in the middle of the day.
Yeah, no.
Why not? What's wrong with that?
Because we got 5 guys on the drive to that Miami shoot, and I was like, I
I'm
was so
sleepy,
tired,
bro. After that,
Yeah, what do you mean?
I had a hot dog and a burger and fries.
Yeah, dude,
I
you're
was
fat.
fat bastard special, dude. Holy shit,
To be fair, Grant was the one like, oh, I'm like, there's a Jersey Mike's. Let's go to Jersey
bro.
Mike's.
There
It
was
turkey
there
sub.
was a Greek Mediterranean grill. We could have just gone that.
All right,
I
here's
can
the
advocate
you're
thing.
the
that
grease fuck here.
Grant is a terrible influence.
Oh,
when
he's
it
the
comes to
worst
food.
influence.
It is
No,
so
don't
bad.
shut the fuck up. You bring crumble here every don't give me that shit.
Okay.
You brought crumble
I had a
here
reason.
every day just to watch us eat it, and
No,
you're just like,
I
bro,
brought-
the
I
whole
brought the
warehouse.
corner,
I
like-
brought
muffins, you bring donuts, you
All right. Vaughn has the floor to explain himself.
Okay. I originally started bringing the donuts because that's when I started going to the off season or going into the off season, and I got enjoyment out of seeing other people eat shitty food because I couldn't at the time.
You know that's like
Okay.
you should go to therapy. Like, fuck that, dude.
That's awesome, is what that is.
And recently, I brought the crumble to make
Sociopath.
Sebastian cave on his diet,
Which-
he
nah.
already
It's not that
he
hard.
has.
It's not that hard.
Oh wait.
Oh, he has.
Bro, he told
No,
me he
he's
caved.
with the cookies?
Not with the cookies.
Well, I watched him buy food at Sprouts.
No, I know. I saw that too,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
like, I mean, he lasted a lot longer than I was expecting. I thought it was just going to be 2 days, and then he
Well,
was just like,
Doesn't matter of time. Doesn't matter
okay,
of time.
easy, Vaughn.
Reword.
No one had that thought until
clip
you
that.
said that.
I mean, have you seen the way that he cooks his goddamn chicken? It still
Bro,
looks
it's
raw.
dry.
Bro, I wouldn't eat it either.
It looks dry on the outside, but it's raw on the
It
inside.
literally
I don't
looks
get
like
it.
he boils his chicken halfway through. It's
What we'll do is we'll bring him on the
roasted.
podcast, and I'll bring an air fryer in and plug it in. And
Show him
I'll
how to
show him
use
how to cook chicken. So, buddy, so what we do is chop this up. We throw it in here for 10 minutes, and we're good.
But no, I mean, going back to like the whole Vaughn Street thing, that's one of the kind of the unique things about like I guess this environment, or you could say Raw, is like this place is like a it's like a breeding ground for just like kind of doing shit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And like that was the biggest reason as to why like I moved down here, is because like you're given the choice of whether to do something or to not do something.
Nah,
and
Chris just tightened that leash up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, no, I wouldn't say that, but
No,
like
he didn't.
He like, it was just like one of those things that's like you gotta just like do it, dude.
Yeah.
You know, and I think a lot of that is instilled by Dom. Because you know how that motherfucker works. Dom's just like, if something isn't done by this certain time, someone will die. Someone in the world will die. Like,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, I mean, I've had an email from Dom before that said I need this done yesterday.
Yeah.
And I got it today. So I don't know how to do that. But I mean, that shows you why he's where he's at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? For sure.
Yeah.
Because if you don't make things happen, they don't happen.
Yeah.
Who's walking in here?
I don't know who is that.
Who is that?
Hello. Who's this? Oh, you're like way late, dude. Sebastian just walked in, bringing our tripod, and you fucked up. It's okay, but we're doing a creative podcast. But yeah, I mean, like it's kind of one of those things where like, you know, it's good to have that pressure, right? I mean, pressure is a privilege after all. But it's good to kind of have that. It's good to be under the gun, and like I like as much as it sometimes can be stressful, being under the gun, it really does push you to kind of like go outside of your like your boundaries. You know what I mean? I felt like the biggest thing like back home from BC, like everyone was so okay with being comfortable, and I'm just like, bro, I ain't not about that, dude. I don't know if it's just like a Canadian thing, but I just noticed when I came down here, it was like a complete 360 switch for me.
I honestly think it's just this environment here.
Yeah.
Because like, even fucking like back home, fucking everybody and their mother is just all talk. But you come down here and it's like, if you say like you're trying to do something, you're in this building and Dom hears it, or fucking anybody here, it's gonna get done. Like like that.
And
And if it doesn't, you're gonna hear about it.
Exactly. Yeah.
As you should. And I also think there's like, it's like there are built-in expectations.
Yeah.
Like I've never been told the expectations of me here, but like when I'm doing something, when I'm working on a piece of content, when I'm doing a pitch deck, when I'm answering emails, like I feel like this, it's not even a pressure,
No,
but it seems like this needs to be done right.
Yeah.
Or like you double question or double think like every edit I do, you know, if I know it's going to Instagram, like this is going to 250,000 people, if not more, because people like Vaughn and Chris are going to repost it. So, I mean, this can't be, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because over 15 million eyes viewed our last 6 reels.
And I also think like
50 million.
We're at 255K. We didn't
know,
we didn't expect to hit, we didn't
we're
expect to hit
moving.
that till like April.
Yeah. So it's like the amount of growth in
I don't know why we aren't verified yet too.
I think we pushed well with this pre-essential drop.
Yeah, I do too.
We did a lot of good content, or in
Almost
my
too
opinion,
much
I
content,
think
but it was good.
Yeah, but I don't think it can be too much.
That's true.
Like I'm a big subscriber to the whole like Grant Cardone is a great example. Whether you like him or dislike him, there's a reason that so many people know his name, right? He's constant. He's in your email. He's on a sponsored ad. He's on a story ad. You get what I'm saying? Like it's like he's always in front of you, and that might annoy you, but it also might push you to buy his programs, which is probably why he's as successful as he is.
I got beef with Grant Cardone.
What did you buy his real estate program? And
No, man. Every time
bomb
someone's
on
just
an
like, "Oh,
Airbnb?
what's your Instagram?" I'm like, Grant Romer. So they put in Grant, and then Cardone is on top of me. I'm like, get the
well,
fuck.
Cardone
out.
has a couple million.
I don't give a shit.
That's not how the algorithm works.
I don't
Yeah,
give
like-
a shit.
All right, well that's just no. That's no, Grant.
Like you're lucky. Nobody in our
Yeah.
space. No one
But my
famous
point
has the
is
name
like
Calvin.
people knew Essential was coming out.
Oh yeah.
Like it's not like they
Dude,
saw it
people
once
were
on their
wanting
story
it.
and they didn't see it the day before it drops. They saw
Yeah.
it 2 weeks leading into it.
Yeah.
Which I think is an approach we can take going forward. Is if we want to push something, we put it in front of people's eyes. And I'm not saying to
Yeah.
do. I don't think the approach is to do a bunch of like crappy content or quick hitting content as much as it is provide a valuable content over a
Yeah.
period of time.
I mean, I think like for us, like from the creative team, I think we're on the right like route
Trajectory.
as what we're doing. We just have to remember that we only have so many able bodies for the time being.
Yep.
I think and I think moving forward, like it's we're not even past halfway Q1 right now, or maybe we are halfway, but I think by the time we hit to Q2, Q3. Like, and we have more people on board, like that's when we're really going to be able to push the stuff that we need to focus on, right? But like as of right now, we're kind of transitioning out of that like what's trending phase to like, okay, let's build a brand and like let's have a more of a brand identity. And I feel like one thing is too is like not a lot of like every supplement company or any company will always like tell you that like, you know, oh yeah, we're doing this so well. I'm like, dude, like if you come into the office every day and like talk to us, like we're still learning shit. You know what I mean? Like we're not saying that we have everything all like, oh, we have an exact plan of how we're doing things. Like I'm like, and like the thing is like how most people have like a 1 year plan for like the rest of the year. Like, bro, like we're so young of a company that we can't even build a 1 year plan yet. I mean, we probably do on
Quite
the back
frankly,
end.
we don't have time.
Yeah,
No,
Like
we
we're moving so fast to get
That's
the content
another
out
thing.
for
Yeah.
new products.
And
not to toot our own horns, but like looking at the size of our company and at the content we produce and the way we're moving, you would think we have at least 10 to 15 people under our creative team.
well, that's our job, is to make it look like
It's
that.
Yeah.
us three. That's
Yeah.
it. In which, like, yes, that's one. Like, okay, one downside of that, it's only 3 people.
yeah.
Yep.
But on the upside, all
Well, there's
three of
more than
us.
3. There's like,
Well, for raw.
Yeah.
But
as far as people, in regards to people that hold the camera and do stuff, yes.
films and edits, it's contained to 3 people.
Yeah.
But then at the other end, it's a benefit just because the 3 of us know how each of us work.
Yeah.
So
Well,
like,
I think
we're always-
we have
we
a
also
synergy.
learned a lot on that trip that we had. Like,
Yeah.
there's not too many people that I want to be in a car with, A, that long, or B, around that duration of time.
Yeah,
right?
they're
Like,
nice.
no, but I'm being dead serious. Like, can you imagine
Sleep
if we
deprived.
didn't click?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
That'd
would be.
torture to
that'd
come
be
to work
hell.
every
It'd be
day.
bad, and the content wouldn't be good either.
No.
You have to have that synergy with your work environment, and I also think that like, you know, like as you continue to work with your other coworkers and such like that, you'll start to learn what the strong suits that they have,
Yep.
and also but like the things that they're bad at, right?
Yep.
And like that's where you can see like, okay, maybe you're not strong in this area, but like you're damn good in this area, so this is what you should be doing.
Yep.
And I think, you know, for most people on the looking from the outside in, you would think that like, okay, these guys are like, it's a small company, so these guys must be playing a bunch of hats. Like we do, but we know how to balance out everything and plan everything so that no one else is extremely stressed out.
Yeah.
Like I would say maybe for the first 2 years, a lot of people were kind of running around with their heads cut off. But I think now that we've had to add more I guess, staff and employees to the system, it's allowed all of us to wear a little bit less hats, but we can effectively manage all of them because we plan everything the way we do. You know,
Well, it's
like
a
we've already-
conscious effort now.
yeah. So like, and it's not saying that like going back to like the whole planning thing, it's not saying that Dom, Chris, and Matt don't have a 1 year plan. They 100% do.
Yeah.
But it's just like they have an idea outline of like what the next year be and the next year and the next year. But as far as from like our perspective, like we go off of what they have had planned for the year, but knowing that there's gonna be things that changes because unfortunately, when you work in a supplement industry, it's not just like you have fabrics and packages and like designs. You have supplements, you have raw material, you have packaging, you have flavoring, like testing, product testing, you have expiry dates. You have all these like small things that like most other brands don't have to deal with. Like especially if you're a clothing company, you're a tech company or anything.
Well, the
like that.
regulation. I mean, everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like our stuff has to be like third party tested multiple times, and then I think we're also in the process of getting our stuff tested again so that we can actually more cater to like athletes, sports athletes and stuff like that. I mean, that's a much longer process, right? But like, you know, there's so many other preliminary things that we have to do as a supplement company to be able to like effectively work before we can even get the product out to people.
Well, and this goes back to what you were saying in terms of building a base.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because if we don't build a base, it's like stacking up. What's the game where you pull the logs out?
Jenga.
It's like Jenga, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like at some point you're going to be on one log way up here, and it's only going to take one or two little things to make that fall, right? Like we didn't batch test something and it has some banned substance in it. I mean, we've seen companies that weren't paying attention to what was going on, and that doesn't bode well for them. So I agree with, you know, we have to stay with, they have the ideas of their plan, and our goal is to kind of be that micro plan inside of that adjusts, adapts, and to promote that. Right?
Executes.
Yeah, we have to execute on it.
And like, luckily we have a good relationship with all of the other people that we partner with
Yeah.
as far as like distribution and like all that kind of stuff. So it's nice because we have more than just one eyes. And the fact that we have 3 owners, which I thought was going to be not like an issue, but I thought it was going to slow things down. It is good to have 3 heads making the final decision, because if it was just one person, it's just kind of like, it's very like, I don't know, like not skewed or jaded, but it's just like, it's better to just have to have 3 opinions rather than just one.
Yeah.
You know, so I think the dynamic that we have from a leadership standpoint is great. And then also from like a team standpoint is also great. And, you know, I think moving forward, once we start to like, I think we've also been, you know, the weekly meetings that we have is like, those help a lot.
Yeah,
Like
keeps
that's
everybody on the same page.
yeah, it keeps everyone on the same page. We know exactly what everything's doing. And I think, honestly, like, I think for the past few months, like we've actually been ahead of schedule for the most part. Like when we were back in the old office, it was like do it this week and it has to be done that week.
Yeah.
But now it's like we're shooting all of our March stuff like next week.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And it's going to be ready for March. So
Yep.
like that's that in my aspect, like rather than thinking like 3-4 months down the road, if we at least think 1 month ahead, that's all that really matters.
Well, I mean, even
right?
to the point of serving the customer better.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of the people that are buying our products might be younger.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're 18, you might have to save up to buy the new pre-workout, the protein, and the merch you want.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine we get this content out to them faster rather than 2 days before, and they're like, "Dang, I really wish that I could, you know, buy some of this, but I don't get paid till this day, or I spent all my money on this." Or, and it's not like everybody's like that, but like, why not consider that person? Because they want to be from the ground up too, right? They want to be part of Raw.
I think, I think that's the biggest thing now too, is like because we have such a higher volume of like products coming out, and like also like the pre-essential was a hit.
Yeah.
Like that was
Anybody who hasn't tried that, it's the best $30 you'll spend on a pre-workout.
that's the other key factor too, right? Is like we were so adamant on having high quality, you know, like products and good formulations, which I mean that's what we do. But then to have something that is on the more budget level, and to be able to get to that like vast demographics, like that's key too.
Yeah.
That's why it's called essential, right? And the flavor's damn good, that's for sure.
Very good.
Yeah.
Even fucking the performance of it is like
Have you tried the new Pump RTD?
No, I haven't.
Blasting.
Oh, dude,
Great.
It's so good. I mean, this fucker definitely took 2 scoops of Thavage and then had Pump RTD.
Yeah,
So he has beta alanine coming out of his eyes.
Yeah, so warning to anyone.
Shit. What is it? How much is that?
What?
So
He had
it was
6
a
grams of
total
beta
six-
alanine.
6.4.
Fuck.
Yeah, dude, I was not in a good state.
You're probably ripping your face off.
Yeah.
He told me literally mid-session. Keep in mind, this is at like 7 a.m.
Yeah.
He's telling me mid-session my eyelids are tingling or burning or whatever itching.
That hit me hard. And that's all I took too. Like it hit me fast.
Oh yeah, no, I took that and
and
I
it
started.
tasted so
yeah.
good, dude.
The rainbow sherbet.
Rainbow sherbet, that was
really
oh my god, so good.
I gotta try that.
So everybody stay on the
And
lookout
it's
for that.
not- the viscosity of the water, it's not like how you
It
It's
doesn't,
not as
coat
thick as
your
most
mouth.
RTDs, yeah.
coat your mouth, it's smooth.
Yeah, it's very smooth. I like it. No, and like, oh man, I'm just like, I can't get over our new labels too. They're damn nice.
So
I can't wait to go see them in store because it's funny. Like when you were saying, like they would pop off the shelves.
They really
that's,
do.
That's one of the things because back in the day before Sarah took over, which again, shout out to Sarah because she's killing it.
Yeah, she's
You know, I
doing
was
amazing.
I was part of the labels, and that was one thing that I always thought was like, if I took this into Vitamin Shop and I set this on the shelf, would I pick this off the shelf? Right? Because they're flashy bottles. They're like very like straightforward. You know, like our old look. But what do we need to change to get to that point where this is the one you're gonna pick?
It's just like I don't know why I just started relating it like this, but like you ever see like sports teams and they just have these fucking dope ass uniforms
Yep.
and you like these fuckers are good. Like
Yeah.
they're gonna like steamroll the other team.
Yep.
Like, I feel like this new packaging is just like it's
That
the
same
first thing
idea.
I think of. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
this is gonna be fucking amazing.
I think over time it will change a little bit, but I think in like it's not gonna differentiate as much as like what the old labels were
Yep.
for. You know, I think it's gonna stay more streamlined, and then we might add a little bit more of like sauce to it to just kind of make it kind of like really be like our own thing.
Yeah.
But like I think this foundation that we have for the new labels is just like it's perfect. It represents us so well.
I agree.
You know what I mean? Well, like that minimal, like kind of like clean and just like raw look.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I really like it. I think moving forward, it's going to be a lot easier to shoot with too,
Yeah.
because it's not going to be conflicting colors.
Yeah. It won't be
shooting
like
with
this,
just white
big
white
brown
labels,
blob
right?
on a black container.
Yeah,
Not that I mean, you know, the products are
hater.
still great, but yeah, I'm not a hater. But
it definitely helps because it looks a lot more similar with our Chris's line as well.
yeah.
Like that's what that was.
Because it's
one
kind of
thing.
hard to pair those together. Yeah.
Yeah, it's way more uniform because Chris's line compared to the old labels were
So
just
different.
like, bro,
Yeah.
what?
You wouldn't expect that to be their same brand.
You would not expect it to be all.
Which again, this kind of goes back to the whole idea of we want Raw to be raw. You would have to know who Chris is and about Raw to understand that they are the same product. Which customer education that comes at a high price if it's not just an influencer. So I think that is cool that we're kind of moving towards, you know, it's as simple as changing the label, printing them and putting them on bottles that they'll look similar to Chris's. So that simplifies that process.
Yeah, I think the approach that we have too is like, yes, we're mainly built off of social media, but I think now it's trying to make sure that it's not just social media that knows who we are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think doing the shoots that we have done this week, we got 2 more left, and like really catering to like, you know, those different demographics of like athletic ability is really going to help us out. And like kind of like almost in a way like still leveraging like what we're good at, which is like that social media presence, but then going back to like what really builds credibility for a brand. It's doing stuff like that, and like going to, you know, events like maybe like an event like a CrossFit event, or like some type of a Tough Mudder event. Not saying that we are, but like those are things that will like really solidify us, because like the majority of people that do those kind of things, they're not usually on social media like trying to Google like what's the best supplement brand, you know what I mean? Like no one really does that
well, I'm
anymore.
sure like we mentioned Nick Bear, you know, he started running ultras and doing things of that sort. It's like a lot of people that maybe wouldn't have been huge into supplements are utilizing supplements now in their routine, because they're seeing someone else who is successful in a realm that not everyone, like in running, you're probably limited. Most people would probably limit themselves to like hydration mix or maybe some type of like sugar or glucose aid, right? So why not tap that with more supplements? Like they can benefit from protein on the go. I mean, if you're running 100 miles, you're breaking down. Why not repair it to some extent, right? Yeah. So I think that that's an interesting way to go too, is to, like you're saying, to show that these things can be utilized in this way.
And also like the whole number on social media, I think I've already talked about this at the ambassador event, but the whole number on social media, it literally has nothing to do with the company's success at all. Yeah. In my opinion. Like it really, at the end of the day, comes down to how many people you actually like, people that like, not like, are inspired by you, but
they
like
resonate.
They resonate with like what the message of a brand is, or like what you guys try to hold yourselves to. Yeah. Right. Because that number on social media, at the end of the day, it's just a like, it's just a view. It does not mean a sale. It really doesn't. Yeah. And it's not a conversion. It's just like, it's a correlation of how we affect them on a social media basis. But at the end of the day, like they're not really the one. Are they really buying our stuff? No, they just probably like our stuff because it's cool. Yeah. But so like when you look at like other supplement companies that have maybe a lower like count or view count, that doesn't mean that they're not successful. Yeah. You know what I mean? So like, and I'm not, what do you mean?
ASRV has 1 million. Their engagement is less than 10%.
Yeah, and they're like the most, you know, that they're
one of the most,
and they're successful. Right? So that's very interesting. You say like the guy only really cares about design, which is simple. It's like if he did not just care about design, he would have changed his socials, even though I think that they're awesome.
Oh, they're great.
Because they don't get the engagement that they need. But I mean, it's the same way you see, like, you know, if an influencer, like you're saying, doesn't have personality, maybe all they do is post, you know, photographs that are
shredded abs.
Well, shredded abs.
There's like no worth behind that.
Yeah, there's nothing special about it. And I think that's where you end up. Like, it's that same idea of they might get 200,000 likes because they post a picture where they look insane, but nobody knows this person. Like, why would I? You know, I would be more inclined to use Code Vaughn than, you know, some influencer that I saw that has more likes and more.
All right, sorry guys, our camera's about to die, but that was a pretty good. That was a good conversation. But yeah, I mean, like, kind of just like rewrapping of like what we were talking about. Like, yeah, like I mean, at the end of the day, like I think, you know, where we are as a brand is really good, and I think we're kind of like diving into like that more, like showing ourselves in more of just one front of like, I guess like social media. Like we want to really be impactful for like, and we have a lot of really cool things planned. Yeah. That has far more to do than just social media. So I'm really excited for that. But I think, you know, moving forward in the new year, we have a lot of cool things to be doing for the brand, and I mean, it's only, I feel like we have done so much, and it's only been like 2 months. Yeah, which is crazy.
So now we do more.
Now we do more. Yeah.
Love the attitude.
Love the attitude. Love it, dude. Sick, bro. But anyways, thank you guys so much for tuning in to the Raw U podcast, episode 27. I almost said 28. Episode 27, and we will see you in the next one.
God, I can't wait to edit this.